Today I'm here to share with you my current gift knitting in progress. A spin that you've seen before, but I did a little makeover to, as well as a weaving project in progress. Hey everyone, I'm Marina, and this is Pineapple Knits, a video cast about knitting, spinning, and weaving. You can connect with me on social media at Pineapple Yarn, and you can visit me on my website at pineappleyarn.com. Thanks so much for joining me again this week, and thanks to all returning viewers. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. I hope you enjoy the content, and if you do, I'd love if you would click subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving if you're here in the US. Here in coastal South Carolina, it was absolutely gorgeous weather. It was about 78 degrees, upper 70s. For 2 days, so Thanksgiving and the day after, absolutely beautiful. But as I predicted, I didn't predict, I just looked at the weather forecast last week, but I knew it was going to be cold, and it is certainly cold this week. This morning when I woke up, it was in the upper 30s, that's very, very cold. So needless to say, everyone is layering, everyone's trying to gather all the wool garments, wool accessories, and I am definitely wearing my warmest sweater as well as a super cozy shawl. This sweater is my coastal pullover. It is a pattern by Hannah Fettig, and I used a really cozy 2-ply that I stock in my store in the sweater quantity section. This is a fine merino and baby alpaca, and it is so warm, and it's a worsted weight. So projects that you create with it are super fast and super cozy. And this is the colorway Coral Conch, which is one of, if not my favorite color. I love this color in my yarn, and it really glows. It's so, so pretty. And this shawl is the Odyssey shawl by Joji Locatelli. I created a kit for this out of 3 colorways. Unfortunately, I don't have any in the shop right now, but it is a wonderful DK weight. And so it's just squishy and warm. It's beautiful. But the colorways in this shawl are Sights on Summer and Pacific Dreams and Sunspot. I had to really think of that. But here's what it looks like. And I love the colors in this shawl. I knit it like a fade, kind of a fade. Actually, I kind of knit it into just 3 sections. And it has this really beautiful giant eyelet. I don't know if you can see that. It just has this really beautiful large eyelet motif, as well as these really pretty edging with the eyelets as well. So I highly recommend both of these patterns. So as we inch closer to Christmas, I am busy doing some gift knitting. I've really been thinking about my fiber stash as well as my hand spun yarn stash, and I've been trying to kind of plan ahead for 2021, and I definitely want to pare those down. I just haven't worked a lot with my hand spun, and I'm not really sure why. I just haven't. So I've been making lots of hats, lots of beanies, and these are the 2 that I finished up this week. So this is, I love this hat so much. It is hand spun, and for those of you who have been following me for a while, you might recall that on St. Patrick's Day of this year, I put together roll-ags from my merino wool stash. I have stashes of fiber and stellina and angelina and things to put into roll-ags that I create on a blending board. And so I created some really fun roll-ags in these green colors on my blending board and then spun them up into singles and then did a chain ply on them. So it kept all of the color repeats together instead of plying them together like a barber pole where each ply is a different color. And so I really have been eyeing this, and I knew it would turn into a great cool weather accessory. And so I did. I cast on for a hat. I think I cast on about 70 stitches, did the same type of pattern, kind of a vanilla beanie pattern that I have linked the past couple of episodes. I love how this turned out because as you do a chain ply, first of all, the yarn is just this gorgeous, round, smooshy type yarn. And so it has beautiful stitch definition. It's really nice to knit with. But then also just creating a self-striping yarn from Handspun, how fun is that? It's really, really neat. So yeah, this hat is so warm. It is, I love it. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it. Of course, I think I'll put a pom on top, but it is such a fun hat, and it has definitely inspired me to spin up some more 3-ply or chain ply, just because I really, really love the texture of this yarn, and I love how it knit up, and I love the stripes. You know what's so funny is I love barber pole yarn. I love that 2-ply look, but this was, yeah, I love this. I really, really love this project. The other hat that I finished this week is from one of my very, very oldest handspuns. And I can definitely tell because this is, I don't know if I'll gift this, to be honest. It's so thick and thin. I kind of like it, but I'm not really sure. Anyway, so this was kind of my first attempt on a fractal spin, and I I brushed up some rollags, rolled them up, and then I also used top as well. So it was a very interesting spin that I did. There were so many spots in this yarn that are, I guess, way overplied and over twisted and or almost ropey, very, very ropey. But then there are spots that were very much under twisted and chunky, and so it's a very uneven texture. I don't have any problems showing this because this is how you begin. You know, I'm not a perfect knitter, I'm not a perfect spinner by any means, and this is evidence of that. This is one of my first hand spuns, and it's just really nice to see that I have come quite a long ways with my spinning. And so what I am going to do with this, I think I might put a fur pom on top. I have quite a collection of faux fur poms because I do like to do this for gifts and just have poms that match. I use them quite a bit. And so I'm thinking of using this beautiful kind of plum color or a pink color to really bring these out. But I just think it's kind of funny too. If I was trying to do a fractal spin, I don't really know where I went wrong because I have lots of these colors, and then up near the top I have some, and then I don't really know what happened to this. I have no idea, but it was a good first try, I suppose, and you have to start somewhere. But this was just I'm pretty sure this was a merino or a rambouillet. I'm pretty sure that I dyed it and then split it up to do a fractal spin. And a fractal spin is basically most of the time when you do a 2-ply and you want all of the colors to kind of shift, and when you ply them together, you don't have a lot of matching spots. And so like this, there are very, very few spots that the plies of the yarn are different shades, and so it results in this kind of stripy solid stripe. But this one, if you look closely, the plies of the yarn are different colors most of the time. So those are the 2 hats I finished. I do have a third one. Where did I put that? I need to go get it. I almost forgot to show you the next hat I'm knitting. This is another deep stash handspun. And it is this really fun and funky kind of like coral and purple blend. And I believe, if I remember correctly, this was spun up so long ago. Obviously, I didn't take notes on it. I dyed these coral sections. I dyed the lightest coral section on a, it might be Rambouillet. And then I believe I had, maybe from the Paradise Fibers monthly club box, I may have received the coral and then as well as the purple. I think I received those from Paradise Fibers. And I also think that I also spun these from Rolex. I don't really know, I'm not exactly 100% sure. But the reason I did coral and purple is because I wanted to do something just so different and out of the ordinary. And I did a barber pulled 2-ply, and I'm really trying to think if I did Rolex now. I'm pretty sure I did, I can't remember. If you've gone back and watched some of my older episodes, I'm sure I have talked about this. I just don't remember now. But yeah, so it turned out very pretty. It has purple Angelina in it for some purple sparkle. And I don't have a lot of this though. And so that's kind of why I'm thinking I did Rolex from it. I may have not even weighed the fiber. I think I was just playing around. You know, all in all, this yarn is actually pretty even, surprisingly. I think I did a fair job on this yarn. It's really been fun to knit with. It's been very bouncy and very squishy. I'm knitting this, and I knit my other green stripy hat. I am knitting these on US 6 and US size 8 needles. I know the US 8 is a 5mm needle, so larger than I've done some of my other hats on, but this is a bulkier weight yarn, and so it just calls for larger needles. I only cast on about 40 or 50 stitches on this, and the reason being is I actually had about half of this hat done last night, and then I looked at it and I was looking at the yarn and I just knew I wasn't going to have enough for a full-size hat. And so this one's just going to be a really cute smaller hat for a child. I really, really like how it's knitting up. It's super cute. So I will show you the rest of this next week and yeah, show you how this one turns out. But so far this has been a really fun knit, and I'm still really enjoying all of my hat knitting. I know it's been, wow, it's been probably 3 weeks I've been knitting hats, so this might be the 3rd week, but I don't really mind it. I've actually really, really enjoyed it. So I'll probably, I'm not really sure if I will be doing any more hat knitting after this, unless I have someone very specific I need to knit a hat for. I want to move on to some other projects, and yeah, we'll just see. So that being said, I do have another project in my wheelhouse that I want to share with you. If you recall, I spun up months ago, I spun up a Hedgehog Fibres monthly club, and it was this beautiful merino with sari silk and probably some viscose in it for like a tweed effect. And the base is like a gray blue, and then it has spots of fuchsia and bright yellow and bright blue, some different brighter colors in it. The more I looked at this, the more I just felt like the plies weren't really strong. I don't know if I had not fold the singles, which is basically almost felting them, but not quite felting them, just enough where they hold strong. So I don't know. So I kind of had a project in mind. I actually had a person in mind for this, one of my good friends. This yarn and this fiber has always looked like her. And so I kind of had pictured in my mind like a chunky hat or a chunky cowl, some kind of winter accessory that was just really chunky, because this is so, there's so many like little bits of tweed and viscose, and it's just a really beautiful fiber and yarn. So what I did is I actually ran it through my wheel again, and I chain plied it because I was super inspired with my green hat. And so I chain plied this, and it is a gorgeous, bulky weight. Oh, I really, really like it. And I feel like this is how it's always meant to be. It made it even chunkier, obviously, because it tripled the thickness, but it's just, I really love how it turned out. The only thing I'm a little disappointed about is that I knew I should have done this and I didn't, is I should have used my slow jumbo flyer for my Kromski Minstrel. It kind of requires taking pieces out, and it requires a different flyer. It's really not that big of a deal, but I didn't. I kind of got lazy, I guess. And so consequently, I had to split this up into 2 different skeins, which it is what it is, and it's done now. But yeah, I spun this, I chain plied this, I should say, on my very slowest whirl. I think that's a 6-to-1, I'm pretty sure. On the flyer, on the jumbo flyer, it has even a slower whirl. I can't exactly remember the ratios on that, but this worked great. I had a very slow treadle, very slow whirl, and it turned out beautiful. It wasn't, it's not overplied at all. I think this will knit up so fun. So I'm leaning toward a cowl right now. I'm not exactly sure, might just go with a hat because I've been doing so many hats lately. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. I haven't washed this yet, so once I wash it, I know it will be even more beautiful and kind of come alive. And I do plan on getting started on this week, and so you'll see the progress of this next week. As you can recall, I have been working on a weaving project. This is for my daughter. This yarn really inspired me to create something for her. This will probably be for Christmas. And I have been filming this as I go along, so this will be a really fun compilation of videos when I get done, and I will share it with you. But I am using a handspun Rambouillet fiber from Spun Right Round. It doesn't have a colorway name, but it's gorgeous pastels. And do you love how I'm just picking up my whole loom to share with you? This is a Kromski Presto loom. It is a 10-inch loom, and so it's perfect for making scarves, washcloths, dishcloths, things like that. Even narrow table runners, you can do that. But this is a 2-ply Rambouillet handspun yarn. I spun it a couple of years ago, and it's a really pretty gradient of all these pastel colors, which is right. It's exactly what my daughter loves. So that's the weft, and then the warp is this pastel pink that I have had for years and years, probably 10 years in my stash. So I cannot show you a whole lot of this right now. It's a little awkward, obviously, but it's coming along beautifully. I'm really happy with it. And I may have mentioned last week, I totally overfilled my shuttles so badly. I mean, it was a little ridiculous, but I am at nearly the very end of my project. And this is how much I have left on this shuttle. So it all ended up working out. I have a few, maybe 2 inches more I'd like to weave on this, and then I will do a hem stitch and do some twisted fringe because I got a a little fringe twister tool that is just the best tool. I love good tools. I'm a huge tool fan, if you will. I'm a huge believer in buying good quality tools, buying the best tools that you can. They just really bring your crafting and bring your work up another level. I also twisted some fringe on a wrap that I just finished with my vitamin C advent calendar as well. And that was so much fun. And I filmed that, which will be later. It will be later because I don't want to spoil the surprise on the advent calendar. But anyway, this project is very, very close to being finished. I just have a few more things and I definitely want to film this, but scarf knitting on this is crazy fast. It is so fast, and this is a fingering weight. I'm using a 12 dent heddle, I believe. This is a Kromski heddle, and so it is a 12 dent. If you buy the Ashford heddles, they're 12.5 dent, so it's a comparable size. But basically, what that means is there's 12 spaces to put yarn per inch, if you will. So anyway, that's how weaving sizes are. But that's perfect for a fingering weight. And if I have any other scarves to weave on this at this point in December, today's December 2nd, if they're going to be Christmas knitting, they have to be a DK plus weight, because any kind of weaving that's going to be done on this is for gifts, as for Christmas, is done. This is the last project. So yeah, so I guess that's about it with my gift knitting, with all of my projects. I'm looking around. I'm drinking tea, which I didn't talk to you about at the beginning of the episode. I'm using my insulated mug, of course, because it's so cold out. And this is Stash tea, and the flavor is Spice Dragon. It's a really great flavor. I love it. And so I am drinking it today to warm up. But I am about ready to head into the dyeing portion of my studio. I am going to be dyeing up clubs for December, all of your pre-orders, so that's really fun. And I have January's pre-orders in the shop now, which is, we're headed into 2021 already. It's been the shortest and longest year. It's been so crazy. But if you're interested in those are in the shop right now. And yeah, happy Advent to all of you opening up your Advent calendars and are on day 2 and are knitting and crafting. I hope you're loving your vitamin C Advent calendar. It's going to be fun, and I can't wait to see all of your projects as December rolls to a close. But I hope you're doing really great where you are. I hope all of your crafting is going well. And I'll see you with another episode next week. Until then, I hope you have an awesome day. Bye.